Hello, good morning, lovely viewers. Welcome to GOSA GH TV. My name is Antonia Krapa Asare. This morning, we want to interact with Engineer Moses Dowuona, a retired VRA engineer. Stay tuned.
Subscribe and like GOSA GH TV.
Yes, this morning he's giving us the history about the Gan Homowo Festival.
I'm Engineer Moses Dowuona, a former supervising electrical engineer of the Water River Authority. I grew up in Mamobi and attended St. Kizito Basic School. I sat for the common entrance exam 1956 and passed and was admitted to Achimota School in February 15th, 1957. I completed Achimota in June 1961. I also sat for the exam to enter the KNUST pre-engineering class, and I was successful. And so instead of going to sixth form in Achimota School, I was admitted to the pre-engineering in UST in September 1961. The pre-engineering was actually an A-level course, but also we had to do practicals in engineering, and that was for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, I started for my A-level. That was 63, and started the degree course in engineering. That is September 1963. I completed the engineering course in June 1967, and I did my attachment with Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. In August, I was invited for interview at the Akosombo VRA Akosombo hydroelectric plant, and I was successful at the interview, but I was posted to Accra to do design and planning. After 1 year, I requested for transfer from Accra to Akosombo to enable me have practical experience. I was posted to the Akosombo hydroelectric plant in June 1968. I worked in the Akosombo power plant from 1968 to 1984, rising from assistant electrical engineer to supervising electrical engineer. I was then transferred to the engineering department of the Volta River Authority, first in Akosombo, then in Akuse. Notable among the work I did in engineering was designing and supervising the second bulk supply station in Obuasi. Subsequently, I was transferred to the VRA training school in Akuse. And it was during that time that power was extended to the north. That is Brownsville region, Upper West, Upper East, and Northern regions. And I had the opportunity to train the supervisors of the commercial department of NET, the organization that VRA set up to manage the distribution of power in the 4 northern regions. In 1991, I voluntarily retired from the Volta River Authority and worked for 2 years on the retrofit of the Akosombo plant, the first phase of the retrofit. And that I did that up to 1994. Then 1994, I joined a private electrical engineering and construction company called Multilec Engineering and Construction. Later, I was made the managing director of Multilec Engineering and Construction. And we engage in connection of supplies for ECG customers and other projects. We also worked on the power distribution system at the Abuaze site. The Abuaze site was where the first thermal plants were developed by the VRA for Ghana. After working for the Abuaze plant and completing the distribution system, I left and continued to practice both consultancy and construction to a point. Subsequently, I took a decision to concentrate on engineering consultancy. And as a result, I held training programs in substation design, HV substation design for the ECG, the VRA, and the Greco engineers. At the moment, and I'm talking about 2020, I will say that I am on retirement. So that is my story. Now, it's unfortunate that I have to talk long over my story, but the main thing I wanted to talk about is the celebration of the Homowo Festival. Homowo in Ghana means hooting at hunger. That is in Ghana wonwa homoyi homowo. Now the Anglos, the Adans, the Gadangis, and the Gans migrated from Israel, and they moved in their various steps. The Anglos eventually settled in Togo under Chief Agokoli.
King Agokoli.
King Agokoli. The Gans moved and moved. As they moved, they settled in various places and left their cultural anyway, the Homowo had to be celebrated because on the migration, at one time there was famine and there was no food. So subsequently, when it rained and maize was available, the Gans and the Gadangwis decided to celebrate the festival, and they named it Homowo, meaning we are hooting at hunger. The Homowo is usually held in on Saturday, but let me digress a little bit. During the reign of Ayikushi of the Ghana state, one sub-chief, Ashangmo, took the black stool to a location called Aneo in Togo, and he settled there and had wives, and virtually that location was then called Aneo. Now, when the paramount chief of the Ghana state sent a delegation to Ashangbo to return the black stool, Ashangbo, who was a Ghana, has now learnt Ewes. So he told the delegation in Ewes, but it's like this: go and tell Ayi Megbe, I refuse.
Okay.
And that is how the Gans the term Ayigbe doesn't refer to all the Ewes. It refers to the Aneho residents.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that the Anehos have Gan names. They celebrate Omowo. During the Omowo festival, they come to Accra. Now, when you go to Osu, there is an Aneho quarter. When you come to Accra Central, there is Aneho quarter. And in fact, it is the Aneho, the residents of the Aneho, who start the Gan Omowo. And when the Aneho quarter celebrates, they then give the Gan traditional area 2 weeks. They celebrate it on a Saturday. Before the celebration, this is all to commemorate the farming. They sow seeds, and after 1 month, the seeds are harvested. This is all in commemoration of the farming and then the recovery. So after the harvesting, then the Omowo starts. So the Aneho people who have settled in Accra start the Omowo. Then they give Accra Central 2 weeks. They also celebrate their Omowo. Then they give the Eastern Corridor. And by the Eastern Corridor, I mean Osu La, Teshin, all the way to Ningo. They give them 10 days. So 10 days after the Gan celebrate Omowo, the Eastern Corridor also celebrate their Omowo. And attached to the Omowo celebration is a celebration for twins. And this is held on a Friday. Well, the Gan Adangbes believe that the spirit of the twins are in the horns of the bush cow, because the bush cow has got 2 identical horns. So that's the basis for their celebration of the twin festival on the Friday before the Saturday of the Omowo. During the celebration of the twin festival, they boil, they slice yams, they boil the yams, they boil eggs, then they cook palm nut soup and use the oil of the palm nut soup to mash the yam. And they serve the twins the mashed yam. Late in the afternoon, they carry the shells and then the peels from the yam in a tray filled with water and some coins and some herb they call green nyanya. It's called nyanya, and it's supposed to have some spiritual powers. And believe you me, as they move towards the Kole Lagoon, when twins identify twins, they hurt themselves. And I am saying this because I've witnessed it. They hurt, but they don't hate themselves. They to identify themselves as twins. So the twin festival precedes the Omo festival, and like I'm saying, the Gadangwis believe that twins are special children and they need to be celebrated. And I will just mention one of the songs. And it goes like this. In a gun, I'm singing gun. Wonyesa unjofoi. Injofoi un etomi. Etomi unkocho. Inkocho un plekeshi. Implication kwele, implication koko. Ye. Oko nipa. That is the name for Oko. Tayo apiaje. Ye. So this is one of the songs they use in celebration of the twins, and this is done annually. But let me make a note here. If you are a Christian and you don't believe in celebrating the Twin Festival, you have your right, but you have to be careful that you are a true Christian. Because if you are not a true Christian and you don't celebrate, the spirit of the twins will make life uncomfortable for you, the parents. So this is the story of the Twin Festival that precedes the Omo Festival, and now the Omo actually is to commemorate when the guns recovered from the farming, and the food, the basic food that is used is unleavened maize that is just soaked for one overnight and turned into a powder and then baked on pot, and then when it is cooked, it's usually used with palm soup. Some people prefer white. They call it actually Kpokpoi. Some people say Kpokpoi, but it's Kpokpoi. And you can have white or Kpokpoi mixed with palm nut soup oil, palm oil from the palm soup. In fact, the Kpokpoi is eaten with palm nut soup. And the eating is done on communal level. One person doesn't eat. When it's ready, it's put in a big bowl, and all the occupants of the house and the neighbors are invited to participate in the eating of the Kpokpoi.
Is there any reason why it is communal eating?
Well, communal eating is actually a cultural practice of Ghanaians.
Okay.
They eat as a group to show their communality, that they are together. So that is the history of the Kpokpoi festival.
Okay.
But the various traditional areas like La, Osu La, and so on. They also have their festivals attached to the Kpokpoi festival. For instance, the La Traditional Council have what they call Panshimo, which is done the Tuesday after the Kpokpoi celebration. And in La, they have a shrine called Lakpan, and they celebrate Lakpan on Wednesday. In fact, if you go to Labadi now, the shrine is in the middle of a street, and it's like there's a runabout around the shrine. I mean, when they were constructing the route, the traditionalists refused to relocate the shrine. In any case, shrines are usually not relocated anywhere. Then when you move from La, you go to Teshin. Also, after the Kpokpoi celebration, a week on a Sunday, the Teshin people also go on a carnival. And they sing, celebrate. So there's a carnival after the Kpokpoi celebration. Other traditional groups in the corridor also have their various festivals. But in short, this is the history of the Ghana Homowo festival. And like I said, the meaning of Homowo is hooting as hunger because we have got food. Thank you.
Thank you to that was it from Mr. Engineer Moses Dowuona of Osukinkawe. Yes, that was a very great one there from him. Akwele Suma. That was very great. Thank you so much, Mr. Dowuona. We are most grateful. Okay, viewers, more videos, subscribe to Gosa GH TV. Onimegagla.